Proverbs 14:30. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. God uses metaphors to help us understand spiritual matters. Thus, they are sometimes called dark sayings. In chapter 1 of Proverbs, verse 6, it says, "And the purpose of the book, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings." In this proverb, we learn the awful effects of envy, as compared to what I would call a right attitude when he says a sound heart. Envy is horrible. Proverbs 27 verse 4 says, "Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?" It's a jealous resentment of others, which, quite frankly, is of the devil. In James 3:14 and 16, it says, "But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work." Envy seems to be a forgotten and ignored sin. When did you last hear a sermon against it? Does your employee handbook warn you about it? Were you asked about it at your last doctor's visit? Have you heard of a judge ruling against it? How often do attorneys use it as a convicting motive? Envy is a terrible sin, a horrible evil, and a destructive cancer of the soul. But very little is said against it or even about it. However, wise men despise it. Envy, as its heart, is at the heart of class warfare of our times. When taken far enough, rioting and looting are rationalized. This was first seen with Cain's envy of Abel, as he rose up and killed his brother. We see it in the early Jews, as Joseph's brethren sold him into slavery because they envied his relationship with his dad. It even caused the Jews to rise against Jesus. Matthew 27:18 says, "For he knew that for envy they had delivered him." Rather than envy another's accomplishments or accolades, as Saul did with David, and it ate him like a cancer, one ought to rejoice at the promotion of another. Our lives need to project edification to our fellow man. You know, when we take joy in another's life, it adds to our own joy. Our attitude ought to be, when you win, I win.